Swadika, good morning and welcome to Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. It's Monday's edition, September the 7th of 2015. Let's have a look at today's top stories. Well, in our first news, in today's Thailand Moves Forward, the National Legislative Assembly has voted to reject the charter draft presented by the Constitution Drafting Committee. Now, the NRC convened its last meeting on Sunday with all of the 247 members attending. Names of the council members were called in alphabetical order to voice their votes. Sunday's results show that 105 members voted in favor, while 135 voted against, with 7 abstentions. Despite the NRC's resolution, Chief of the National Council for Peace and Order will form a National Reform Mobilization Committee comprising no more than 200 members within the next 30 days. As for a public referendum, members of the public will be able to cast their votes on the new charter within the next 180 days. The new constitution will be written by the new drafting committee, which comprises 21 members. The NRC's term ended immediately after Sunday's vote. Meanwhile, the National Council for Peace and Order will not allow any group to exploit Sunday's dismissal of the draft charter, that is, by the National Reform Council or the NRC, in creating conflicts. This is according to the NCPO spokesperson, Colonel Wintai Suwari. The NCPO spokesman explained that in accordance with the interim constitution, a new constitution drafting committee will be established within 30 days by the NCPO. The 21-member body will then finish its draft of the permanent constitution within 180 days. The following 45 days will be used for a public referendum for the draft charter. Colonel Wintai indicated that Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha, in his capacity as head of the NCPO, would like to thank all members of the NRC and the Constitution Drafting Committee for their work. Meanwhile, the NCPO will not allow the outcome of Sunday's vote on the draft charter to be exploited to create rifts within the society. Colonel Wintai said the work of the CDC and the NRC will be studied by the new Constitution Drafting Committee. Members of the legislature have scheduled a date to deliberate possible public referendums on various issues. President of the National Legislative Assembly, Phonphet Vichitolachai, has issued an order calling on a special meeting with all NLA members on September 8 for urgent agendas. At the upcoming session, the NLA will discuss which issues should need the public referendum before the conclusion is presented to the Cabinet for consideration. The legislature will also deliberate the process to set up a special committee to conduct a study on the solutions for garbage problems in communities and review the annual report for 2014 from Secondary Mortgage Corporation. In other news, the Prime Minister has urged all Thais to help rid Thailand of corruption. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has stressed that all problems which Thailand have been facing are the responsibilities of every Thai to help solve. Prime Minister Prayut's call was heard when he delivered a speech, the government's reform progress in clamping down on corruption, to mark the National Anti-Corruption Day over the weekend. The event to shed light on the day was organized by the Anti-Corruption Organization of Thailand at Santara Grand at Central World in Bangkok. Under this year's theme of Active Citizen, building anti-corruption awareness among Thais, the organizers have hoped to make the new generation of Thais to never accept any form of corruption and to stand up against it. Minister of Interior Anuphong Phawjinda has instructed officers to enforce international standard laws against human trafficking so that Thailand will be taken out of Tier 3 of the U.S. Trafficking in Persons report. And meanwhile, the Agriculture and Cooperatives Ministry orders revision of IUU fishing database to finish in September. Minister of Interior said the Department of Provincial Administration was urgently implementing the Roadmap 7 plan, according to the government's policy to suppress human trafficking. The ministry cooperated with relevant units in registering migrant workers from Myanmar, Laos and Cambodia. These people were allowed to stay in Thailand for 1 more year until their citizenships were identified. Special teams have been set up in 67 provinces to prevent and arrest human trafficking suspects. More than 80,000 migrant workers in the fishery sector are allowed to register with the ministry this year in order to legally work in the country. The minister reiterated that administrative officers in all levels should tackle human trafficking more seriously and continuously in line with international standards. Meanwhile, Agriculture and Cooperatives Minister Jano Chatchai Sarikanya has assigned the Department of Fisheries to resurvey the overall registration of fishing vessels and issuance of fishing license and finish the jobs by the end of September to maximize the database accuracy that will be used in overhauling the IUU fishing control. Regarding the progress report of IUU fishing control that Thailand is due to submit to the EU by 7 September, the minister stated that the Fisheries Department has finished the report and will send it within the time frame. He said he had reiterated to the department to make sure the report would present Thailand's corrective guidelines in all aspects, including keeping the natural balance of aquatic animal population, as well as the human rights practice in fisheries. General Chatchai revealed that urgent projects that the Department of Fisheries must implement under the 2016 annual budget are the suppression of the IUU fishing and the elimination of EMS epidermis in shrimp farms. Reconsideration of budget for importing white shrimp parent breeding stock is needed, along with the enhancement of the disease control system. The EMS epidermis situation has improved with a decline in number of EMS-infected shrimps from 28% to 15%. The Minister of Tourism and Sports, Gopkan Wattanawarankul, on Saturday inspected bicycle lanes in Suan Phung district of Ratchaburi province while promoting the new Bike for All program. The inspection is a part of the project to promote cycling and develop bicycle lanes nationwide in the initiative Bike for All. The project is being developed under the supervision of the Department of Physical Education. Bike for All aims at providing the general public with additional venues to exercise with the expectation of creating unity among the people and encouraging a sufficiency way of life. According to the minister, there are currently 2 prominent biking lanes in Ratchaburi. One is a 7.5-kilometer long route through the residential area outside the province's central business district, while the other lane is a beautiful tourism-related 52.25-kilometer long run in Suan Phung district. The construction of both lanes is now about 60 to 70% complete. Let's have a look at some of the tax measures. The Ministry of Finance has prepared tax measures to help SMEs in line with the government's economic stimulus policy. It will also propose the promotion of second-hand car exports in September this year. Permanent Secretary for Finance Rangsan C. Warasat suggested that apart from SMEs, the government should assist large enterprises simultaneously. If a tax levied on them was decreased from 15% to 10%, the government would lose 5 billion baht, but SMEs would have more liquidity. Mr. Rangsan, however, warned that tax measures should be used only when the situation called for them. The ministry will propose a measure to promote second-hand car exports to the regional market by reducing duties for entrepreneurs. The Permanent Secretary added that there was still no need to offer a tax amnesty for SMEs. Bang San Beach is ready to welcome visitors again after the trouble-making plankton bloom has gone away. Visitors were previously advised against swimming in the sea as the plankton bloom could cause skin irritation. Local people will want to exercise caution when cooking dead fish found along the beach, as some of them could be tainted with dangerous bacteria. The stink of dead fish washed ashore scared visitors away from the beach, affecting related businesses such as seafood restaurants and speedboat rental services accordingly. A plankton bloom or an algal bloom is a rapid expansion of microscopic plants which occurs in sunlit layers of both freshwater and seawater. The growth and decomposition of short-lived microorganisms causes depletion of oxygen in the water, which is blamed for the death of small fish and aquatic lives. San Suk Municipality affirmed the situation has now returned to normal. City officials were mobilized to clean up the beach to facilitate tourist activities and local businesses. And the northeastern province of Sa Kaeo has officially opened the bird watching festival to promote conservation and tourism there. Sa Kaeo Provincial Governor Pakarathorn Tianchai has officially opened the bird watching festival, which was organized under the cooperation of Sa Kaeo Tourism and the Sports Office, as well as Chongkum Tambon Administration Organization. At the opening ceremony, which was held at Praprong Reservoir, several activities have been organized, including fishing and hunting games, exhibition on the snake bird, and also sales of OTOP items, as well as boat trips to observe the life of the snake birds. The event has been initiated to promote the province's tourism industry, which will help generate income to the local economy. One of the highlights of the festival is the Praprong Reservoir, the province's largest water retention system, where an abundance of fish and aquatic animals live, and various species of birds have flocked to prey, including the snake bird, which is one of the 40 birds in Thailand which are at risk of extinction. And that's it for the segment of Thailand Moves Forward. We'll now have a quick look at the exchange rates and also commodity prices. Newsline will return with ASEAN News. Stay with us.
Maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 7th core value, understanding true democratic ideals with His Majesty the King as head of state.
How could you do that to me? Stop it! Huh? Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore. Enough! We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
Multiple perspectives, insightful commentary on Thailand with The Insider every Sunday morning at 10:30 on NBT and NBT World.
Welcome to ASEAN, a community comprised of 10 countries, each with its unique culture and history, now unifying to bring added prosperity to the region. For centuries, each country remained independent. But now we are coming together to compete in the 21st century globalized world. ASEAN is bringing together more than 600 million citizens and a total land area of 4.4 million square kilometers, and is providing economic opportunities, trade, travel, and new educational possibilities. The combined GDP of all 10 ASEAN countries comes to a total of $2.4 trillion, which means the ASEAN entity ranks amongst the world's major economic powers. The future is here. Welcome to ASEAN, the community of opportunities. The Southeast Asia region is now becoming one.
watching Newsline. The National Institute of Development Administration, together with Assumption University, co-hosted a conference discussing language and education post-2015. Kun Niranut Praijakwanit has a story.
At the end of 2015, the ASEAN community will have a big impact on Thailand in many ways. As economic competition becomes fiercer, education is increasingly necessary for all Thais to seize new opportunities. The ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, will bring a new era of economic cooperation to all 10 member countries, with English as the working language of ASEAN. Workers with better English skills will be able to reach for more job opportunities and help improve Thai economy as the kingdom attracts more foreign investors. The National Institute of Development Administration, together with Assumption University, foresaw the growing significance of education after 2015 and organized an international academic conference entitled Language and Education in the Post-2015 Education Agenda, a road towards a new teaching and learning paradigm. The conference served as a forum for academics in the field of language and communication to discuss and exchange knowledge on how Thais should prepare for a post-2015. Director of Southeast Asia Ministers of Education Organization, or SIMIO, Dr. Witaya Jiradeshakun, said that after 2015, the English language will be considered a key factor of success.
The best way to improve the English skills is to be able to use English as often as more and more in terms of real life, in terms of in business, or even in the classroom, finding more time, more opportunity to use English.
And you said that
we take advantage of that in terms of using English in education, in professions, and even in daily communication, and be able to understand the other cultures through the use of English also. Well, we are trying to now, and I think we will be able to get a good competencies of using English very soon when we really implement the plan of education of each institution.
countries in Southeast Asia are pushing their education system and English proficiency to keep up with the post-2015 education agenda. I'm Niranut Praijakwanit reporting.
Samut Sakhon province has held a seminar on enhancing agricultural potential and creating prosperity for agricultural operatives. The forum discussed the role of the country's agricultural sector in the ASEAN economic community and how to expand market venues to create prosperity for the agriculture industry. The forum also discussed the use of technology and recent innovations in enhancing productivity and product value, in addition to reducing capital and the use of chemicals. The government of Somalia has endorsed a project to set up a privately run company in Thailand to be its representative in promoting fishery and agricultural investment in ASEAN. Under this decision, the Somalian government also chooses Thailand as its agricultural production base. Somalia's Deputy Prime Minister Mohamed Omar Ati and Justice Minister Abdullahi Ahmed Jama signed an MOU establishing the aforementioned firm in Thailand. The Somalian Deputy Prime Minister said his country viewed Thailand as center of the ASEAN bloc and gateway for the African kingdom to engage in joint ventures with ASEAN nations. He said, as Thailand has the expertise in agriculture and Somalia is good at fisheries, both sides could share their experiences in these priority fields, while cooperation in other fields would follow in due course. Somalia's Justice Minister stated that his government was confident in Thailand's investment atmosphere and was not bothered by the recent bombing at Rajprasong. Somalia hoped that the situation would improve soon. The minister also indicated that Somalia would soon issue fishing permits to Thai fishing operators, as Somalia has a long coastline and is capable of exporting more than 2 million tons of fish yearly. In other global news, Austria said on Sunday it planned to end emergency measures that have allowed thousands of refugees stranded in Hungary into Austria and Germany since Saturday morning. Austria had suspended its random border checks after photographs of a Syrian toddler lying dead on a Turkish beach showed Europeans the horror faced by those desperate enough to travel illegally into the heart of Europe, which is deeply divided over how to cope. After 71 people suffocated in the back of a truck abandoned on an Austrian highway en route from Hungary, and as thousands headed from Budapest towards Austria on foot, Vienna had agreed with Germany to waive rules requiring refugees to register an asylum claim in the first EU country they reach. Austrian Chancellor Werner Faymann said that decision was being revised following intensive talks with German Chancellor Angela Merkel and a telephone call with Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, bitterly opposed to the waiver. Romanian anti-corruption prosecutors have opened a criminal investigation against the capital Bucharest mayor on suspicion of taking bribes, they said on Sunday, the latest in a string of high-profile cases in the European Union state. Romania is one of the EU's most corrupt states and subsequently one of its least developed, but a crackdown on high-level corruption has earned prosecutors praise from Brussels and from foreign investors. Prosecutors said that Sorin Oprescu was part of a group of civil servants working in Bucharest public administration who granted public works contracts to companies in exchange for receiving some of the earnings back as bribes. His lawyer was quoted as denying any wrongdoing on behalf of his client. Oprescu, a 63-year-old doctor who is serving a second term as mayor, was caught receiving a €25,000 bribe, a first installment out of a €60,000. In total, he had allegedly demanded from unnamed people who became informants for prosecutors, the statement said. Prosecutors said they took Oprescu in custody for 24 hours late on Saturday and will ask a court to extend the arrest warrant for 30 days pending the investigation. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us. If you do have any suggestions or comments, please write to us. The email address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. Today we say goodbye. Well, we will show you some interesting sand sculptures in California. I'm Chalapan Sanarula. Have a good one. Sawasdee ka.